Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start with a very practical point. Many companies are investing in next best offer and next best action, and that makes sense. But before we talk about the next best offer, we need to ask one question. Do you really understand what's happening with this customer right now? Because the same offer can be right once in one situation, and completely wrong in another situation. It depends the customer, the history, the moment, and depends on the business goal. So today I want to show you the layer before NBO and NBA. How we understand the customer moment first, and only after that, how we decide the right action. My name is Lucas Palin, and that is my QR code LinkedIn. It's just scan me if you want. And I work with SaaS and analytics, AI, and decisioning. My focus is practical, make technology work in a real operation. But before we go into the case, I want to recognize Weiner Aguilera. Weiner, he's not here with me today, but he was a key part of building this solution. And now the problem. The traditional contact center or AI orchestrated contact center. On the left, he have the traditional contact center, starting routing, generic scripts, manual escalation, isolated data, and reactive retention. On the right side, we have the model we want. Contact our routing, the personalized guidance, the automatic models, and the customer contents, real-time next best action. But the main point is not only the technology. The main point is the contact center must move from reacting to the case to understand the customer moment. One model manages cases, another model manages moments that matter. It looks the real problem. Companies already have a lot of data. They know the customer, the billing history, open tickets, the previous complaints, service issues, and app events. But many times this information is not used at the right moment. The agent starts with partition content, the company reacts with the partition components too. That creates friction with our customers. The customers repeat the same history every time they call us. The system may choose the wrong path, agents may receive generic scripts, and the author may come too late. So problem is not a lack of data. The problem is timing we understand too late. And when we understand too late, the next back action may not the back action anymore. And now we have the real-time decision life cycle. On identifying the client, understand, defining, route, action, and learn. Principally, learn. Here, the first step, identify who is the customer, what do we already know, what happened before without this. Second step, understand the client. The system must follow the conversation. Intent is not fixed. Is changed during the interaction. The third step is define. What's the business goal? Retention, sales, support, escalation. This is where understanding becomes decision. The fourth step is route. Once the objective is clear, we choose the right path, the right model, the right agent, the right workflow. And then we act. But the action must be governed, must be follow rules, must have a reason, and must be auditable. And finally, we need to learn. What happened after the action? Did the customer accept what was the issue solved? Did the decision works? The feedback improves the next action. And now we complete all the real-time decision life cycle. And now our demo.
This is Anna
Now
from Nova
let's
Telecom
move from the
Support.
concept.
Am I speaking with Mr. Lucas Almeida?
Yes, this is Lucas. I am calling because I want to cancel our business plan.
I understand your concern, Lucas. Let me check what I can do for you before you make a final decision.
We had repeated outages and my invoice went up again this month. Finance is very upset.
I can see your recent incidents and a higher bill flag on the account. As a first option, I can offer a 1-month service credit.
That helps, but it is not enough. I still feel safer moving to another provider.
Understood. I can offer a stronger solution, invoice correction today, a 12-month protected discount, and priority support for your branch offices.
If you can apply all that now, I am happy to continue with the plan.
Great, thank you. Just to confirm, are you happy to continue with this plan under the updated conditions?
Yes, I confirm. Great, please apply that now.
In the first case, Lucas Almeida represents a churn and a retention situation. The customer shows frustration, the risk increase, and the system needs to support the operation, the retention action. And now we have the churn action to retention this client. And I have here the support for this operator. And now another agent, after we classified this agent, I have another one with sales, for example.
Good afternoon, this is Daniel from Nova Telecom. Am I speaking with Ms. Fernanda Oliveira?
Yes, this is Fernanda. My discount ended, and my bill jumped a lot.
I hear you, Fernanda. Let me pull up your account and see what we can do, so you still feel you're getting solid value.
I'd like to stay, but only if we can get to better terms than I have right now.
So here's one path. I can restore part of your discount and bump your data allowance.
That's helpful, but what I really need is predictable pricing and stronger value over the next year.
I can offer a better plan, annual price protection, and a lower monthly cost than your renewal quote.
That works for me. Are you able to activate this new plan today?
Yes. Just to confirm, are you happy to go ahead with this new plan and the updated discount terms?
Yes, I agree. Please go ahead and apply it.
And this second case, it's Fernanda. Fernanda represents a sales opportunity. I have 3 agents here. One agent to classifying this conversation in a real time. We transcribe the text, classifying the text, and goes to the model to routing to another agent, retention agent or a sales agent, for example. And how we did this? The step 1, identifying and context. Without identifying, everything becomes generic. The systems need to know who is the client. When I started and the agent identifying the name, I go to database, take all the data about this client, and the agent knows everything about this client. And what happened before? It's possible to know this customer is a high value customer. Are there open issues? Where is the previous service problem? I know everything about him. After that, we understand what's happened now. The conversation is not static. The conversation is step by step. And it's changed. It changes. A customer may start with a technical problem and then show frustration, then mention repeated issues and express cancellation service. And or need or an opportunity. The third step is defining the business object. There is where the business object takes the control. The question is not longer only what is the customer saying. The question becomes what is the right business goal now? In the Lucas Almeida's case, the objective is retention. The Fernanda is sale. And in another case, could be supporting billing escalation or another important theme. And now we're routing to a specific agent. For example, for churn, the path may be retention. For the sales, an opportunity, one offer, one action or another offer. And now we need to understand the signals, the object, the route, and the actions. The signal, the first element is the signal. We need to understand what's happened with this conversation. The signal, it's a real-time input. They come from the conversation, the CRM, the billing, the app events, the customer history, and from supporting cases. Without a good signals, the decision will be weak. But the signals alone are not enough. They must be connected to the content, the objective. And the object is the second element. After collecting the signals, we need to define the business goal. The agent, the classification agent needs to understand this and needs to understand it's a retention, it's a sale, it's a support, it's an escalation. This is important because each objective requires different actions. Lucas Almeida and Fernandes are good examples for this. The two customers, two moments, and two different objectives. The third element is routing, meaning choosing the best path, the best agent, the best workflow, the best model, and the best decision strategy. Good routings reducing friction with our customers. It reduces unnecessary escalation and helps the customer reach the right solution faster. And now, the action. The final element is action. There is the system triggers the next batch action. It can be a retention offer, be a sales offer, can be the technical guidance, can be the escalation, and can be no offer. Just, I don't want to offer nothing for this client, but the action must be a reason. It must be clear and must be logged, and must be easy to reveal. And this is the intelligent decision becomes the central. AI can detect the signal, summarize the conversation, classify intent, and suggest the language. But the enterprise cannot be only a suggestion. The company needs to control the eligibility, business rule, profitability, compliance, approval logic, and decision flows. SaaS intelligent decisioning brings these elements together. It's helping govern the action. So the action is not only smart, it's valid, controlled, explainable, and scalable. That is the difference between a smart suggestion and enterprise decision. Now, let's talk about an enterprise context with SaaS Retrieval Manager, SaaS RAM. The generative AI is powerful now. Everyone using GPT, Gemini, and another generative AI, but it needs grounding. If the recommendation is not connected to the company knowledge, it can sound right and still be wrong. For this case, context can come from the many places: policies, manuals, product documents, billing history, service logs, CRM notes, previous intention. This content gives evidence to the recommendation. It also gives confidence to the operator here. The operator should not have to trust a black box. The operator should to see why the recommendations make sense. And here we have SaaS with the vector database. And we insert all information about our clients. And we have the agent knowing all about this client. And it's possible to ask everything about this client, and the operator will know about all the steps. And now, here is the front of SaaS RAM. We have here, it's possible to have a conversation with our agent, and this agent have all this information. And when the operator needs to talk about this client, it's possible to ask about Lucas Almeida, what's the billing, what's the history, I have all this information in this database. Just asking, what should I do now, or what question should I ask the next, and when should I escalate? It's possible to train our agents to do that. In the churn scenario, the operator needs to know how to protect this relationship. In the sales scenario, the operators need to know how to move the conversation forward without forcing the offer. And the best AI in contact center is not only that replaces the operator, is the one to make the operator more precise, consistent, and faster. And now we can look at the architecture. This is what's turning the video scenarios into something enterprise can operate. The architecture have 5 layers here. The interaction can be a voice, a chat, an app, a transcript, a video, an agent desktop. And the second layer is the signal. The signal captures the meaning from the interaction, intent, the sentiment, entities, risky signals, and event normalization. The decision layer, about the SaaS intelligent decision, models, rules, decision flows working together. And the content layer brings the trusted knowledge in the SaaS retrieval agent. Customer profile, the billing, the ticket, the manual, the logs, all about this client. And the offers, for example, the actions. And the activation layers, send the decision back into the operation panel. Everything is connected. Our agents with our database and our operation panel. And we can't forget the governance. The governance is where may AI project become a real or fail. Everyone talk about the Gen AI and put all the information in the Gemini and the ChatGPT. Here, we close your data in our database. In your database, it's possible. And you have the power of your data. We don't send the data for the world. And it can, in the contact center recommendation, is not harmless, can after revenue. Customer trust, compliance, and brand perception. So the company must know why and the action were recommended. Which rule was applied, which signal was used, which policy was checked, and what happened after the action. This is not a bureaucracy. It's what allow AI to scale safety. AI can help, but the company must be in the control. At the end, the must measure as business solution, not as AI experimentally. We can organize the value in 3 groups: retention, operation, and governance. For the retention, we measure handling times, routing accuracy, retention uplift, or offer accepted. Lucas Almeida's case connects directly to this, to goals, to the act before the customer lost, not after. The customer is lost, not after. The second group is operator. Here we measure handling time, first contact resolutions, routing accuracy, cost per interaction. If the system routes better, guides operation better, and reduce unnecessary escalation, the operations become more efficient. The third group, we have a measure audit and traceability, policies compliance, models, and rule modeling, and the decision consistent. This is what makes the solution safety for enterprise adoption. The business needs to trust how decisions are made. When they combine these 3 groups, we get the complete view of value. Operations show efficient, governance show control and trust, and this is how move from the AI demo into a real business solution. Let me close with the main message. The future of the contact center is not only a conversational, it is decisional. The winners will not be companies that only automate more conversation. The winners will not be companies that only automate more conversation. The winners will be the company that make better decision in the moment that matter. The churn moment, a sales moment, a support moment, which one requires a different actions. And before better actions, we need to better understanding that is the opportunity. That to turn every customer interaction into a smarter business decision. And thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. We have about 5 minutes for questions. Any questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me? Okay. How do you balance how much of how much is rule-based and how much is agentic-based? Obviously, we talk about a lot of rules that you have to apply, but on the agentic side, it determines what is the next best action, what is the best offer based on particular scenarios. So how do you make sure that the agentic piece don't go off script?
The agent, I teach the agents with, I train the agents with a lot of conversation about, for example, retention. And I teach him just to talk about this and have another vector database only with the information. I put the SAS Intelligence Decisioning to combine buffs and send to the classification agent. And after that, I can send to the model to put to looking for the signals and routing to another agent.